Hello, horror heads, and welcome to the show. We continue our Halloween That's Not Halloween movie series with our third film on the list. I think you're going to enjoy this one because I guarantee you we sure did. We are joined by the lovely Cynthia Zqueen Bonner, who is a fantastic makeup artist that specializes in scary creations. She's going to give some makeup tips to help out with your Halloween. You have got to see some of her past makeup jobs. It is truly incredible, and we have the links in the show notes, so be sure to check those out. Also, don't forget to check out our Halloween special bonus episode coming soon. We realized that this October actually has 5 Mondays, and since we release a new episode every Monday, we needed an extra episode to fill that 5th slot, other than our 4 movies that we're covering. So Mike and I are joined by a couple of friends, and we're going to have a chat about some of our favorite Halloween things, plus some from you guys that you've been sending us over the past couple of weeks. So let's keep the Halloween train rolling and get this episode started. My name is Sheldon, and this is The Graveyard Shift, horror with Sheldon and Mike. Let's dig in. Welcome to episode 20 of The Graveyard Shift and part 3 of our Halloween That's Not Halloween, where we watch a horror movie that takes place on October 31st, but has nothing to do with the Halloween/Michael Myers movies because, come on, these are the ones that everybody does on their Halloween episodes, and damn it, we strive to be better. We're going to talk about the movie's plot, some production details, what we liked, what we didn't like, and any other info we think is worth knowing. And of course, I said we because no one wants to go trick-or-treating alone. Please say hello to a guy that likes to wear a sack on his head for reasons that have nothing to do with Halloween, my co-host Mike.
Hi, everybody, and I'm not affiliated with that group. Just, you may have listened to our podcast, hearing evidence of the contrary. I assure you, you are mistaken.
And how are you on this fine October, sir?
Oh, doing pretty damn good. Having a good October so far. The weather's good for biking. I got to bike down some dark bike paths without the worry of bugs, since it's too cold for them, and I'm listening to some nice scary mashups on my phone. Oh, it's very nicely here, like chills and wind and thunder, even on cool days. Oh, it's so nice.
Yeah, weather's been surprisingly nice so far this October, so I'm not complaining. Let's hold it out. And, Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, but did we actually watch a good movie this week?
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it too much because we're going to really get into some details later, but this was a pretty good one.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. So, why don't you tell our fine listeners what movie we watched this week?
Today's episode is Trick or Treat, or Trick or Treat, if you want to say it fast, like the kids on the tweets or whatever.
Yes, and what made this one especially good, I should say, is that we had some extra company for it because tonight we are joined by makeup artist extraordinaire Cynthia Zqueen Bonner. Welcome to The Graveyard Shift.
Hi, everybody. Thank you guys for having me.
It is our pleasure. How are you doing?
I am good. How are you guys?
Oh, it's all good here.
Ecstatic now that you're here.
So, Cynthia, we asked you to come on the show because we saw some of the makeup work you've done online, and they are fantastic. You are truly an artist.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Most recently, we saw the Pennywise one that you did from the new It movie.
Oh, my gosh. That one got so much love. I didn't even expect as much love as it's gotten. It's like, it was just, I don't know, I can't even put in words how awesome that look just put me in the door, like of people just looking at it, and it got like on major sites and stuff, and I thought that was cool.
Oh yeah, like we shared the hell out of it because we wanted everyone to see it. It was unbelievable. I've watched a lot of these videos where people are doing makeup jobs, and this is some of the best that I've seen. So I'm really glad to see that this went as viral as it did.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. I put a lot into it, and I actually did it live on Facebook. So I
Mm-hmm.
wanted my viewers to get the experience and watch me do it so they can see me just creating because they like that. And I like
Yeah.
doing it. I love interacting with everybody.
Well, that's good. Well, that's what we like to hear for a show like this. So that's good. Now, based on some of the pictures we've seen of your work, you have a look for pretty much every day, but Halloween must be especially important to you.
Halloween is very, very important to me because I just love it so much. But I feel like Halloween is every day with me. So, but Halloween, I like to really go out and just do like amazing looks and just push myself and try to give them the best looks I can.
Right. Well, good job. So you're in Mississippi, is that correct?
Yes, sir. I am
Uh,
from Jackson, Mississippi.
nice. So how's the Halloween scene there?
Um, it's not really, really like I want it to be. It's not really extravagant and stuff like that.
Not as big as an event as you would prefer to have it.
Yeah, I would love to have it like real big, but it's not that big here.
Oh, that's too bad. It's unfortunate. You're going to have to
But
you're going to have to visit Toronto someday. We have a big Halloween scene here.
oh, I would love that. But I like to just walk around my neighborhood and go to stores and stuff with my makeup on, just spice it up.
Awesome.
If you see anybody grabbing a torch or a pitchfork, then you can be like, yes, mission accomplished.
Yeah, I have plenty of times when I just like startle people or they're jumping or they're just looking at me like they have never seen nothing like that before.
No,
And it just always makes me laugh.
that's good. Well, we're going to get to some more questions for you about some of these makeup jobs later on, but for now, I cannot wait to get started on this movie. So, first of all, I just want to get everyone's general opinion of this movie before we get into any details. What did you guys think of it?
So many twists that I didn't even expect that just made me more interested. And then the main character, the pumpkin, I forgot what his name was.
Sam.
Yeah, Sam.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm not good with names. Sam was just like everything to me. It's like that character just terrified me and amazed me all in the same time.
Mm-hmm. And so, Mike, what do you think of it?
It was very, I gotta say, it took me back. It reminded me of Creepshow.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I just fucking loved it. It was like whoever did this clearly got their influence from that, and they did the homage perfectly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally agree. Like this movie was, excuse me. I would go as far as saying is this is probably my idea of the perfect Halloween movie.
Yes.
I don't think any movie has gotten me so much in the mood for Halloween as this one has. And yeah, I own this movie as well, and this is without a doubt like no matter. Sometimes I have my Halloween lineup of movies, and sometimes I'll switch some out for some other ones. But this one, for the past probably 9 years, has been on my Halloween list all the time. So
Exactly.
yeah. So before we continue, here are a few things about Trick or Treat. It was released in December of 2007. For what reason it was December, I have no idea. But Trick or Treat is a horror anthology film directed by Michael Dougherty and producer Bryan Singer. It had a budget of about $12 million and had a box office return of approximately $165 million. So it did pretty good. It has a Rotten Tomatoes score of 82% from critics and 72% from audience, which I gotta say, I'm pretty surprised by that. I thought it would be higher.
Yeah, it seems
Exactly.
yeah, it's lower than I expected.
Yeah, like for both, actually. Because it did, I do remember that when this movie first came out, before I'd seen it, while it was doing its theatrical run, I remember good reviews. So I'm really surprised that 82% from critics is all it got, but I'm especially surprised at 71% for audience because I hear people all the time speak very highly of this one. So I just thought it would be higher.
I
Now,
know.
as for the plot, five interwoven stories that occur on Halloween. An everyday high school principal has a secret life as a serial killer. A college virgin might have just met the guy for her. A group of teenagers pull a mean prank. A woman who loathes the night has to contend with her holiday-obsessed husband. And a mean old man meets his match with a demonic supernatural trick-or-treater. Now, that description is a little vague.
Yeah.
It doesn't really do the movie justice.
It borders on inaccurate almost in some cases.
Yeah. I got my description from IMDb. Something tells me I should have just written my own.
Yeah. Yes.
It does overall tell you what happens, but yeah, like I said, it really doesn't do it justice. But that's okay. Maybe we can do it justice. So, okay, we want to tear into this one, so let's kick it off. Mike, tell me something that you liked about this, and I have a feeling I know what you're going to say.
Gee, I wonder why. 5 minutes in, we get a kill. So, points. Like, right off the bat, like, oh, is this going to be one of those movies where nobody gets killed, like Trick or Treat from 1982? No. Someone gets killed, and you know that. So, you can expect that. So, it's excellent.
Yeah, and it is a great kill, too. You don't see much, but you see enough that it sets the tone for the movie. This kill is what brings us into the opening credits, and it's done in such a great way. It's a little gory, nothing too serious, not until the reveal of the kill at the end, anyway. But yeah, it's done really well, and you know right from that point what to expect from the rest of the movie.
And what credits they lead into. Just like I said before about Creepshow. Like, Creepshow had that comic book feel. Like, was it
Yeah.
Creepshow or Creepshow 2 that actually had the comic book in it?
No, Creepshow, the original one, like started off with the kid reading the comic.
Yes.
Yeah, and he grows that Venus flytrap at the end, and he eats the bullies.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what this reminded me of, because like Trick or Treat is based off a comic book series, isn't it?
it is. Yep. It started as a comic first. I didn't look this up, which I should have, so I'm just going by what I've heard. But I think they were done side by side. Like when the writers for this got the idea for the movie, they started writing it and writing a comic book alongside of it.
Oh, it's a package deal.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just what a way to kick off the movie. It grabs you right away. So yeah, good choice for your first like.
And the credits as they're coming in, they've got like, not only does it remind you of Creepshow with the comics layout, but it also gets you that Psycho vibe with the violin shrieks and like jump fades with pictures and everything. It was just excellently done.
Absolutely. All right, good call. So Cynthia, how about you give us something specific that you liked about this one?
I liked the storytelling from it. Like I like the eerie stories. Like it gave you a different aspect of different things that's going on in one night, and then they all seem like they just wrap up into the same story, and they like really blew me away
Mm-hmm.
because I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah. No, the first time you see this, I totally get it. Like, it's not until you reach the end of the movie that you realize just how intertwined these stories are.
Yeah.
Like, you see little bits of it. I mean, you kind of got to figure it out. You see little bits of it throughout each story, but it's not until the very end you see just how much they're all connected and what the order that everything takes place. And
Yes.
so, yeah. So, it was a great piece of storytelling, absolutely. Like it was done in a very nice way, tied everything together, and it's just a great story. That's the best way to put it. And so, yeah, absolutely, I agree. Okay, so first thing I have on my list, actually, the story, like Cynthia just said, was the first thing I have on my list, but I had a feeling we were all going to agree on that point, so that's okay. The next thing I had on my likes list was that the story, as great as it was all tied together with a mascot, which is Sam, the or Sack Boy, as some people refer to him. And
I'm sorry.
I like that. Like all these five main stories, he appears in each one of them. Some he's just there, kind of like you realize he just oversaw the thing, and some other ones
Yeah,
he's actually directly involved with.
Oh boy, does he get involved.
And man,
exactly.
he's really, at least a couple of them, he really gets involved. and, but I like that. And when I look at the info on Sam, like we've all heard about the spirit, this kind of like the spirit of Halloween. I believe is what's Mike. Forgive me if I'm pronouncing this wrong. You'll probably know. Is it Samayan or Samaran?
Samhain?
Samhain. That could be it. Yeah.
That's like, yeah,
But
there's the thing about Celtic language is that like it's never pronounced the way it looks. So it
yeah,
looks like Samhain, but when there's also like another name, like if you ever play Final Fantasy VII, there's a character called like Kate Sith. At least it looks like that, but there's no voice track. But when you look it up in Celtic and you hear it discussed, it's actually pronounced Kachi, which has not spelled anything like that, but that's what Celtic is. So
yes.
it looks like Samhain when you spell it, but the girl Rhonda with the glasses, the little like witch Velma girl,
Yes.
she
Yeah.
pronounces it as the festival of like Samwell or like Samway or something, and that
Yeah.
could be like the Celtic pronunciation.
That's very true. But I like that. I liked how you did that. Like we've heard stories about the spirit of Halloween, this the pagan spirit or god, and now we've actually got a physical version of him, which at first we think is just some kid, like some little kid going around trick or treating, but we realize not long into the movie that actually right in that opening scene that Mike talked about first, that there's actually a little more to him than that.
Oh, Samhain. That was the name that she pronounced.
Samhain. Okay.
So
Yeah.
it may be spelled Samhain, but it's pronounced Samhain because
And
Celtic
certainly
is
not
misleading.
whatever the hell it was I said. So yeah, I like that. Like to have this mascot to tie everything together because I mean we've seen some really good anthology movies before, and
Yeah.
Creepshow most likely being at the top of that list. But and while
Exactly.
Creepshow did have a mascot of sort, like we saw
The creeper.
the creeper exactly at the beginning of Creepshow, you don't see him again. Like he doesn't have any involvement in the stories, whereas
Yeah.
Sam is actually involved in all stories. So it was good to see him keep popping up like that.
Oh, and he's not like he's invisible. Like it seems like he's invisible in one scene because nobody pays attention to him.
Well,
But-
of course, because everybody thinks he's just some kid out trick or treating.
Yeah. And then like Rhonda comes, like walks right up to him, and they just give each other that look, like, "Did you kill somebody?
It's
Yeah.
done.
Did you? Did you kill somebody? Yeah. Well, all right then. Happy Halloween."
Yeah, we had some kids show up at our door last year trick or treating dressed as Sam. And what we do for at our house, we just open the garage door and we just kind of camp out in the garage, and so the kids don't have to come up our steps. Like we've got like a big staircase, so they don't have to come up our steps. They could just like walk to the garage and we give them their treats. And so when we see Sam come up, oh my God, I almost lost my shit. I'm like yelling at my wife. I'm like, "It's Sam! Look, it's Sam! It's Sam! Oh my God, Sam's here!"
Get the camera.
It was so awesome. It was like then he kind of stopped, like this little kid stopped and was like, "I don't know if I want to go to this house. These guys are."
It's a
guys are
fucking
kinda freaking me out.
movie. It's a fucking movie. Now give me a coffee crisp.
Exactly. Okay, so Mike, what do you got next on your list, buddy?
I gotta say when we're introduced to I forget the kid's actual name, so I'm calling him Pumpkin Boy because he looks like a pumpkin. He's just walking around being a destructive asshole, smashing pumpkins like across the entire neighborhood. So
Okay, the big kid at the beginning.
yeah, the kid that looks like a pumpkin because he's like big and he's
Well,
got the
I
orange
thought when
thing.
you said look like a pumpkin, I thought you were talking about Sam, and I was just like, dude, we just
No.
went through. You're like, I don't know what his name is, but I'm going to call him Pumpkin Boy. I was like, we just went through a whole thing about his name. Okay,
And then
now it makes more sense.
he meets the principal played by Dylan Baker, who gives like this nice chat about how people just don't respect their elders anymore. And as he's saying this kid starts getting like a gurgly gut, and then he starts throwing up like what I can only imagine is like chocolate and blood.
Yep.
And this guy is just, you think he'd be like The only thing that I was missing is if like he was trying to look at the principal, trying to like ask for help, and then like throw up on him, or the principal would just like throw his hand out to keep his face aimed away from him while he's barfing to death. That's the only thing I thought was missing, but I thought it was a good scene. The kid was a destructive asshole, so I think he kind of deserved that part.
Yes. Yeah, because that kid was obviously a jerk, and I'm not saying I'm doing nothing. I am not, saying that child killing is a good thing. I'm just saying that in a movie, sometimes it's good to see a jerk and a bully get their comeuppance. So it's.
I don't advocate child murder, but some kids deserve killing. It's just.
Yeah. And that, I think that might have been like, I know it's not gory in a sense, but it was the most gruesome scene in this movie for me, when he just starts barfing the chocolate sludge, for lack of a better description, all over the steps.
I thought that was nasty on that part of the movie. I thought that part of the movie was just like, what? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm surprised kids came to his door without slipping on that thing.
Exactly.
That would have been a good cutaway. Someone's just like, okay, I'm gonna go ring Mr. Webster's doorbell. And then he's just looking on the door and he sees like 3 kids with broken necks and he's like, motherfucker, I gotta dig another hole. I didn't even plan for this.
Okay, Cynthia, so what do you have next on your list for something specifically that you liked about this movie?
The principal. Speaking of him, I really like the way his story had went to like. It went from the boy throwing up on the ground to him being this father to this kid, and you thinking that he's carving something, and then it's something else, and then he's into this other scene. I was like, he's just thrown in 3 different situations, and I was like, I just didn't see it at all. It's like shocked.
He had big plans He had big plans today.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's great, because he definitely stood out. Like, he seems so unassuming, just somebody that has, a love for Halloween. He's so meek and mild-mannered, and then you find out that he poisoned his candy, so he's killing the trick-or-treaters that came to his door. He kills a big kid and drags his body inside. And
Cruel as that.
then him and his little son are going to be cuts off the head and decides going to start carving it into a jack-o'-lantern. It's like, wow, this thing just took a dark turn.
Yeah, you think, oh no, he's going to kill his son. No, he'd already killed someone with his son, because it's a family. It's a family activity.
Yep.
Family that carves together stays together.
There you go.
The family that slays together stays together.
That's right.
Nice. So yeah, that's a great one, and it leads right into what I have on next on my list, and it pertains to a particular scene, but it is involving the father, the principal, burying the bodies in the backyard. Which is pretty cool, because it's a great scene, because we find out afterwards that it's like we get to see this scene, and then later on towards the end of the movie we get to see the same scene, just the mirror side of it. And which is brilliant. But this scene, this is very specific, and I got to bring it up because the guy is digging a hole in his backyard, throws the bodies of some of the trick-or-treaters he killed in there.
Exactly.
Starts to bury it. Then his son pops his head out the window and says, "Daddy, are we going to come inside so we can carve the jack-o'-lantern?" "Oh, I'll be in a minute. Go watch Charlie Brown." And what does the son respond with?
Charlie Brown.
"Oh, Charlie Brown's an asshole."
That's
and I jumped up and I said, "Yes! Finally, somebody said it!"
Yes! Charlie Brown is a fucking wet blanket. He is such a pill.
Don't get me wrong. First of all, I love the Peanuts gang. Especially the Charlie Brown. It's the Great Pumpkin. Charlie Brown is a classic that I have to watch every year, and I get a kick out of it. But like, oh my god, like Charlie Brown, I'm sorry, but I know there's a reason why nobody likes you. Nobody wants a kid that's always down, depressed, and making a big deal out of nothing, hanging around them. Okay,
get some freaking beta blockers and like perk up. All right.
So I was so glad to see that. First time I saw this movie, I was like, ah, finally somebody said it. Someone feels the same way that I do. Thank God.
It's
Exactly.
the great therapist, Charlie Brown. That would fix everything. He'd still suck at baseball, he'd still lose his kite, but he'd be like, you know what? Life's still good.
Exactly. Okay, Mike, what do you got next on your list?
Well, you took it away from me. Charlie Brown's an asshole.
Oh, steal for the win.
But okay, moving down on the list. Well, Cynthia stole my next one about the principal. Just like from beginning to end, the principal is just awesome. So, well, I guess like my one thing I haven't mentioned, in 55 minutes in, we finally get nipples. It's a horror movie. We got the kills. Where's the boobs? Less than an hour in, we get boobs. So you gotta give them credit for that. They didn't keep us waiting long, and they kept us entertained in the meantime.
We can't. I'm wondering someday we're going to get
Oh, I
through an
forgot we
episode.
had a female guest. Well, Cynthia, it was nice talking to
I
you.
can't say nothing about that because I do body paint, so I paint my body with paint, so I can't really comment on that and say, "Oh my gosh, you shouldn't be talking about that." I can't say that.
So yeah, one of these days it's going to happen, and I'm going to mark it on the calendar when it happens. We're going to record an episode where Mike doesn't mention credits or boobs. But yeah, that's a good one, Mike.
I'm going to save my silence for a special movie.
No, we see it, but like this is another great thing. Just another testament to this movie is that they do put in a lot of the horror tropes that are common for most horror movies, but even the common horror tropes, they do it in a good way.
Yeah, there's honoring tradition, and then there's playing out an old trope or a gimmick.
Yeah, because correct me if I'm wrong, but when we do see the scene you're talking about is when we get the werewolf transformation scene, right?
Yeah, I think it's the only time. I don't think we got to see the old man's nipples or the big kid. So yeah, I think those were the only nipples we got to see in the movie. Thankfully.
Yep. So I mean, it kind of makes sense. Of course, they're going to be you're going to see some nudity when someone's turning into a werewolf and their skin is splitting and coming off and everything. So
Yeah.
yeah, okay. So they're it was well done. It wasn't gratuitous, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
It was tasteful nipple cinematography.
There you go.
Yes.
And the award that's going to be the new award category at the Oscars actually this year.
And the award for best nip slip goes to Trick or Treat 2007.
Okay, so Cynthia, what have you got next for us?
Anna Paquin. I think that's how you pronounce
Yep.
her name.
Is
Her
that Anna Penguin?
Yeah. Her sequence was like I just love everything about this scene.
Yeah, it
just totally threw me for a loop because I was thinking it was about something else and then it turned to something else.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
oh,
absolutely.
wait,
Like, I
what?
mean, her storyline was just like, hey, here the character description is, sweet, cute, innocent werewolf.
Oh, they
But
perfectly played it.
when you're watching it, you're not thinking she's that. You just thinking she's like this innocent girl that's like, on her verge of trying to get her cherry pop or something like that.
Exactly. Because at first when I'm watching this movie, I'm thinking like, oh my God, we leave her alone. Like, what is that making her feel that?
I know. I was feeling bad for us. Like, why is y'all pushing her to do that? She's nervous. She's not trying to do it like that. It's like she's trying to find her little thing. She's trying to ease her way into it.
Uh-huh. And this movie, where it has like so many twists, I can guarantee you that had to be the biggest one out of all of them.
Oh yeah.
Yes, then you see the principal. You're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, and the principal shows up in this storyline as well. So
It's like, wait a minute, what's he out there killing trick or treaters? And now he's out here trying to get women and stuff. Like, what's going on?
Well, he's leveling up. It's like when you play like one of those, it's like when you're playing those MMORPGs. You go into the field, you kill some rabbits. you level up a bit, and then you're ready to go out and take out a bear. So that's
There
what
you go.
he was going up for. Like, I killed some kids, and I'm going to kill some teen girls.
Then he out there trying to be a vampire. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, for the most part, you think he is a real vampire because like he's actually like biting someone.
yeah, and then he puts her so lovely on the ground like a prop. Nobody wouldn't
Like a
even
drunk.
notice.
Mhm.
I know. Yeah, they are like a drunk, and you wouldn't even know that she's like not live. She's just sitting there passed out.
No, that's so true. Like it's yeah, it's like it just goes back to good storytelling. Like it's some nice twists. Everything is shot beautifully. Just everything is
Yeah,
great.
Justice
like I said, it
gets done.
reminds me so much of Creep Show. It just got that feel and that flow.
Yeah. So next on the list for me is that, and this is something that like probably should have said first, but just to go back to what you said, like it's got that flow. This movie, I think, for me at least, feels the most like Halloween on top of any other movie that I've seen. Like it has the
Yeah.
most Halloween feeling.
Yes.
It really invokes the spirit of Halloween. Like you watch the movies, like well, take for Halloween for example. I mean, really, that movie is like it takes place on Halloween, but the events that happen in this movie could have been any night. You know, it didn't
Yeah.
have to what the events that happen have nothing to do with Halloween other than the fact that's the day it happened on.
Exactly.
But well, sort of. I mean,
No. Well, the principle it was tied entirely to Halloween because he was going out in costume, poisoning.
no.
candy.
I mean the movie Halloween.
Oh, that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm using it as an example.
I
You know-
spaced out for a millisecond and I completely warped into a different movie. Yeah,
Welcome
that
back,
one,
Mike.
Yeah, you could throw a serial killer into, and you could throw Michael Myers into any movie. Like
Yeah.
he is not Halloween specific.
Exactly. Like what happens in the Halloween movie could have happened on any night. It
Yeah.
just so happened to happen on Halloween. This movie is Halloween. Like
Absolutely.
this is the movie that deserves the title of Halloween to me because like not only is it taking place, everything that happens has that Halloween connection. And when I feel it, it feels to me like the way I felt when I was a kid. When you're getting ready to go out trick-or-treating, you got that
Yes.
anticipation feeling, and that's what I get when I watch this movie. There's nothing that puts me more in the mood for Halloween than this movie does.
I totally agree.
Okay, so Mike, you got something else for us?
My final thing is the bus driver at the end.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
when it looks like he's finally learned his lesson, like embraced like the proper spirit of Halloween. He's been redeemed for what he did. Oh no, wait, he gets killed too.
Yeah.
So
Which, yeah. And just leading up to it, I mean, we got a great scene where Sam, comes into his house to give him like a little punishment for not celebrating Halloween, because that seems to be Sam's thing. So Sam is like such a great character because he's pretty specific. Like, not only does he make sure that you celebrate Halloween, but you've got to celebrate Halloween right.
you got to respect tradition, obey the rules.
Yeah.
And if you don't have candy on Halloween, he's going to personally instruct you as to why you just fucked up.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's when we find out that Sam is he's got a great connection to Halloween because apparently he's made out of pumpkin guts. So, but yeah, that was great because, this guy seems to learn his lesson. Now he's going to put out candy, and the ghost kids show up at his door, and they're like, "Oh, you learned the true meaning of Halloween? Oh, that's good. We're still going to kill you for drowning us."
Yeah,
Exactly.
you still murdered us, fucker.
Yeah.
That's right. This story ended tragically.
Tragically or poetically?
Both.
Yeah.
Because you're
But,
like, oh, he learned the lesson, and then it's like, nah, they still got him.
Yeah, I think like maybe that's the only reason Sam spared him because he knew like something worse is coming. Like this guy's got a shotgun and he fucked me up a little bit. Now, I could finish him off, or those kids I woke up about 10 minutes ago, they're on their way. I'll let them handle him, and I'm going to go see if anyone's blowing out their pumpkins. Oh, look, someone did.
So, I got to ask you guys, of the 5 intertwining stories, which one was your favorite?
I got to go with the werewolf, because she has no idea she's stopping a serial killer. And she just has a startling left field surprise ending for her story.
Yeah.
And it's the story with boobs, so I'm a simple man.
Yep.
That story knew how to please me.
Always some points for boobs. And Cynthia, what about you? What was your favorite story?
My favorite story has to be about the kid.
Mm-hmm.
The school bus. I thought it was so tragic on that part of the film where the kids was like the dirty secrets of the town. Yep. And they like told him like, get rid of them.
Yeah. No, that was actually my favorite story too, because first of all, it is a tragic story. It is pretty sad, and it is the deepest running story, and I think it was the creepiest because first of all, it starts off creepy just when she's telling the story, and we see the kids in the bus and they're wearing their homemade costumes with like the paper mache masks and things. I'm like, that's scary enough on its own. If I stepped onto a bus and saw that, I would nope the hell out of there so fast.
Exactly.
But
I
then
was like all those costumes was super creepy.
Yeah. But then to turn it into like a ghost revenge story as well. Oh my God, that was brilliant.
It really was.
Because you didn't expect it.
Yeah.
I know you think Sam is the only monster in the actual thing. And then werewolves show up and it's like, oh, okay, well, at least... And then it starts off with them awfully pranking her. And then she decides, in like the best way, no, fuck you gotta die.
Yeah. Oh.
I think hers was the most cruelest.
Yeah.
She was like, forget y'all.
Yep, I'm out of here. But that was good. And then like she gets in the elevator and locks the door and just basically gives a big middle finger to the other kids that pranked her in the first place. Gets to the top of the quarry. No remorse. Yeah, absolutely. Gets to the top of the quarry, steps at the elevator to see Sam just looking at her, and he kind of just give each other a little nod and then carry on their way.
It's like, oh, busy night for you? Yeah, you too. It's kind of like what was that Looney Tunes thing with the sheepdog and the coyote? Sam and Wiley? Sam and Ralph? It's just like, another day, huh, Ralph? Yep.
Exactly. But yeah, it was just like, Sam looks at her after seeing everything that happened, and he was just kind of like, yeah, she gets it.
Yeah. Yeah, you got some bodies under you? Yeah, me too. All right, yeah. Well, I still got a night ahead of me. Carry on.
So yeah, just great. So we got involved. Considering, I don't know how more perfect a Halloween movie could be. We've got the spirit, literal spirit of Halloween in there. We've got a psychopathic serial killer. We've got werewolves. We've got a ghost revenge story, and and like some great Halloween imagery. I don't know how it could get any better, to be quite honest. Which which leads us to our next part. This is going to be interesting. What didn't we like about this movie? And Mike, I'm going to let you take the lead on this one.
My biggest dislike, Schrader was nice to Rhonda, and it was kind of sucky that she let him die along with the other kids that pranked her. Like, he comforted her, he defended her. You think that he would have gotten some points for, he came around. He did prank her in the beginning, but he redeemed himself, and that still wasn't enough. Like, she left him to die.
Yeah. I guess so. He was we had a little more sympathy for him than the other kids, but I don't know if I would say he redeemed himself because, he was part of the prank to go along with, like, from the beginning, so.
Yeah. But he realized it was wrong and it went too far.
Yeah. I actually had that on my dislikes list and then cross it off.
You're like, yeah, fuck him.
I'm like, nah, I don't like him that much. I'm okay with him being dead. Right.
I thought that he should have been spared since he turned around, but you thought his redemption came too late and he should go fuck himself.
Yeah. That was it.
You should have thought about it before you decided to torture the autistic girl.
Okay, so continuing on with our dislikes, Cynthia, I gotta ask you, is there something about this movie that you didn't like?
I didn't have no complaints with this movie. I'm sorry. I had no complaints with this movie. I liked everything about it.
Yeah.
Just everything. I didn't really see nothing wrong with it. I'm sorry. I just found it to be like something fresh, something good, something that remind me, like you said, of Creepshow, and it just gave me that feeling of Halloween, and it's just something that I was looking forward to seeing for a while. When I actually see it, I was not disappointed.
Oh, good. And I have to completely agree. Usually, even with movies that I love, that are some of my favorite movies, I can find something. I've said I think my most common phrase since we've been doing the show is that, oh, I'm going to get into nitpicking territory right now because this is something very minor. But I can honestly say for this movie, I don't even have something to nitpick at. I do not have any dislikes for this movie, and that is a very first for the Graveyard Shift. I have a movie where I think this might be my absolute perfect movie.
Yay!
And I had to open my mouth and talk about Schrader. We could have made this a shutout.
No, that's fine. I don't care about your. I don't care about your. I'm just talking about mine. I mean, come on, you didn't like The Shining, so.
Oh, don't throw me under the bus, or don't throw me in the bus and drive it off a cliff.
I like that.
No, I'm being serious. Like I'm guys. This when it comes to now. Maybe if I watched this movie when it wasn't like Halloween time, around Halloween time, because that is the only time I've ever watched this movie. Maybe if it was, I don't know, Christmas or Easter and I was in the mood for something else and I watched it, it wouldn't have quite the same draw that it does. But right now, after watching it for the 7th, 8th, 9th time, something like that, I can honestly say I think this is my perfect Halloween movie. So no dislikes for me. I'm going to give it an absolute 100%.
That's right. I'm on board with that.
Right. So between the three of us, we have one dislike.
It's pretty high praise.
That's pretty good. There you go.
Yeah.
You got the Graveyard Shift seal of approval for Trick or Treat.
And I'm willing to downgrade my like to trivial. So.
Dislike, you mean?
Yeah, my dislike. I'm gonna downgrade it to trivial. So yeah, we're gonna shut this movie out. Hat trick. Woo!
Now that we got the likes and dislikes done, though, recently, as you guys know, that have been listening to us for a while ago, for certain movies, we added a WTF column when we found something about a movie that we couldn't really put on the likes or dislikes column, but something that left us really confused, that we couldn't quite figure out, an event, a scene, whatever, that the movie doesn't explain. I don't have anything. But Mike, do you have something for the what the fuck list?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We see.
Of course you do.
We see Principal Wilkins he poisons the pumpkin boy.
Yep.
And just when we think he's put him in the burlap sack, because we see him drag him into his house, then he goes into his backyard, dragging a burlap sack that obviously has a kid in it. But when he throws open the tarp over the hole in his yard, he's already got a body in there. So we've established that he's had a busy day. This isn't the only kid he's killed. But when he throws the body in and he starts talking to his neighbor, who, his kid bothers him, then the neighbor bothers him. You almost sympathize with him, except for the fact that he is a psychopath. But he's just like, oh, come on, stop interrupting me. Let me just kill in peace, okay? I mean, just come on. I got a job to do. But then a hand comes out of the burlap sack, but it's not the pumpkin boy because he just had like an orange shirt that said, "This is my costume." And this one has like a white glove and a clown, like a rainbow sleeve. Like he's burying a clown kid, not the pumpkin kid.
And we also discover that later on in this same scene that the pumpkin kid is the poison kid is in the basement missing his head. So
who the hell?
Definitely not him.
Yeah. So who the hell was this kid? We didn't even get to see where this kid came from.
Yeah. Now, we talked about this earlier, and I thought I had it figured out. And so I told Mike I thought I had it figured out, but because later on when we see, because this movie does jump around a little bit, like the stories don't happen in a linear order, a chronological order.
It's pumpkin fiction.
Exactly. And we do see during the same time in a later scene that 3 kids go to the neighbor's house dressed as clowns. And they get chased away by the neighbor's dog. And so my thinking is, I told Mike that I think because we see a clown hand, one of the kids that's getting buried is dressed as a clown. It must be those 3 kids that we saw in that scene. Because it seems like an awful coincidence that they're all dressed like clowns. And then we see him later on burying some bodies. And we see that, one of the bodies he's burying is dressed as a clown. But one thing you got to know about arguing with Mike is that Mike, he pulls out the guns when he's arguing. He doesn't just take your word for something. He's going to go look into it and bring some research to the table. And so I start getting like a multitude of screenshots from both scenes. And with Mike saying, okay, if it's one of these guys and you tell me which one it is. And so I'm comparing the two, and I said, oh, okay, I concede. I say, you're right, because the clown arm that we see doesn't match any of those 3 kids that showed up at the neighbor's house. So, all right, I'll give you that one, Mike. It is. I thought I was going to be able to knock you down a peg, but no, you have a bona fide what the fuck. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
I fight hard for my nitpicking.
So I guess they just wanted to leave it up to us, just like, there's no real explanation. It's just that this guy has been killing a few trick-or-treaters that night. So
like what's his body count? We've got at least 2 bodies in the backyard, the fat kid in the basement, the lady that he bled out. We don't even know like if he drank the blood or if he just like stabbed them or if
he just like punctured her jugular or whatever.
Yeah, so that's 4 at least. And then he tried to go after Anna Paquin, and it didn't go so well for him.
Nope. Go back to that scene. That was such a great scene because we figure we know what's going to happen there because we see him approach her on the spooky road that I call Sleepy Hollow Road.
Oh yeah.
And then we just, like, the next time we see him, he just falls from the sky.
He slams her against a tree, bites her, and we just think, oh, no, not her. Not little cute Riding Hood. And then we see her hood fall out with a body, and we're just like, oh, no, this real vampire is going to terrorize these girls, and he's killed poor precious Anna Paquin. And then she walks out of the woods, and we find out, no, it's not a real vampire. It's just Principal Wilkie. And he fucked with the wrong Riding Hood.
Exactly.
What are the chances? I'd like to know what the odds are that the town's, well, I'm assuming is the town's only serial killer meets up with a freaking werewolf.
A wolf pack.
Wolf pack, yeah, like a coven of werewolves. That's amazing.
That's
so
awesome.
Yeah, good. What the fuck, Mike? I'll hand it to you, buddy. I'll give you some applause for that one. Well done, sir. Well done.
Thank you. And apparently they're good werewolves because every evil person in this movie gets punished. They get their just rewards, except for the girls. We see them driving off and just like they're laughing. They're just like, oh my god, can you believe what he did? Like, oh my god, did you see the way like he squirmed and cried when you bit into his jugular vein? I know. I mean, like the way he cried and begged. I mean, I felt like I was the man. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
It's so silly.
Oh, that is so true. Okay, so that is Trick or Treat, and I think we've got a consensus here between the 3 of us that we all recommend this movie. Am I right?
100%.
Yes.
Yeah.
Man.
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, this is, I think, in my opinion, this is the perfect Halloween movie.
Yes, especially for a first timer.
Oh, yeah, yeah. This is, if you haven't seen this movie, check it out because you are going to be very pleased.
Very pleased.
Okay, so now since we're on the Halloween theme, Halloween's coming up. By the time you guys hear this, Halloween's going to be about 2 weeks away. So this would be a great time for a little makeup tutorial, I think.
Oh, hold on,
So,
we didn't do the kill of the week.
oh my God. Okay. Do you want to edit this or just
No, we'll just leave it in the fact that I'm sniping you.
got it? All right.
So the
Yes,
kill.
Mike.
The
You've got
ki-
a few choices, buddy. So what have you got for us?
Oh, there's so much variety, but you know what? I'm just gonna save us some time and say the kill of the week goes to the principal. And if you want to know why, just see the last 5 minutes of this conversation.
Okay, when you said the principal, I didn't know if it was going to be one of his kills or him being killed, but now I know.
Yeah, well, the kill. Yeah, him being killed was the best. Like, it was like a truly terrifying scene when you don't know, like, are these witches? Because they seem to be like writhing around all these bodies, and then we see fangs, and I'm like, oh, so they're vampires. And then like they start ripping their fucking legs off, revealing fur underneath, and I'm like, oh, ugh,
That was
ah.
so freaking cool.
And then you see them partying later, and I'm like, okay, did they just roll their legs back on? Or did they like shed the fur and they're just like, hey, I just had this
Yeah.
extra skin layer underneath, meaning that their fur is trapped between like a skin sandwich.
Yeah. Well, they went with the very very old school werewolf, and when I'm talking about old school, I mean like back in the ancient, like the native legend of the skinwalkers, which it wasn't like a transformation, like a morph. Like they actually shed their skin to reveal the wolves underneath, and same thing when they revert it back to humans, they shed the wolf skin.
Yes, kind of like they did on Van Helsing.
Exactly. Yes.
Or Hemlock Grove.
Yeah.
Yes,
So there you go. So yep. I like that transformation. That was a good one because it was gruesome.
it was nasty.
Oh, and the way she's like, bear with me, it's my first time. And the look on his face like, are you gonna fuck me because you broke my leg?
He's kind of like,
I'm
well, I
not
do
in
have
the
a
mood.
broken leg. I do have a broken leg, but all right.
You do look like Anna Paquin.
Yeah.
And I've been rocking an X-Man fantasy, so you know, I think I can tough it out at least. Like call the hospital, and I think I can. We'll see what we can do until they show up. Oh, they're not going to show up because you're going to eat me. Okay.
Unfortunately, that leaves poor little serial killer Junior at home by himself.
Yeah, that's an unresolved plot thread. I mean, his kid is obviously a psycho serial killer, just like Dad. He got away with it. Oh,
Maybe this is the origin story of Dexter.
Well, they're trying to make a Trick or Treat too. So
Oh yeah,
it would
I've
be
heard about that
great
for a couple of years now.
if we could follow up with this kid. If this was one of the plot things,
Oh yes.
where we get to see like what happened to Principal Wilkins' boy.
Mm-hmm. A great time too because this character, since that was 10 years ago. Say if we got the movie now, he would be like a teenager, like a high school kid.
Definitely.
So awesome. Okay, so good kill, Mike.
Thank you.
So yeah, so like I was saying, like Halloween is just around the corner, so this would be a great time to get some makeup tips for all you trick-or-treaters out there. And we got just the perfect person with us to do that. So Cynthia, if you've got some tips for someone that, wants to do a nice little makeup job for Halloween, do you have something you could, some advice you could give them?
Yes. Face paint is always good. Just you can find your normal face paints up in stores and just do if you want to do a little simple vampire, white out the face, put a little black under the eyes and draw your little fangs and add your little blood, add your costume. There you go. A nice little simple vamp.
Mm-hmm.
You want a little creature. I go with the green face, draw a little teeth, black out the eyes, and there you go. Got your little creature going on. Something simple, if you just want to do a little quick,
Are there any
you know.
brands that like you find like give certain effects like any base in the makeups like oils or something for certain effects like for a dark tinge or like a glossy effect?
Um, Glossy. I use different kind of brands. I use Meron. I think it's called Snarzu, one of those. I can't pronounce it, but it's one of my favorite face
Okay,
paints. I use that when I do kids' faces.
sounds like you just described like the sidekick for the Thundercats.
And I use that face paint a lot because it's good, for especially doing kids' faces. It
Mhm.
goes on real smooth and it's water based, so it's easy to come off.
Okay. And so, is there any like before process before you start putting the makeup on? Is there anything that you should do like to make the effect better or keep the makeup from running or anything? Like, is there any prep work
Um,
beforehand?
Make sure your face is really clean,
Hmm.
and if you're trying to do anything over the eyebrows, like if you're doing prosthetic pieces or liquid latex, make sure you always seal your eyebrows with some Vaseline or a glue stick and powder down so you won't rip your hairs out like I did one time.
Yeah,
Protect those eyebrows.
it's never happened to me, but I had a friend of mine that bought a werewolf makeup kit that included these bushy eyebrow like prosthetics that stuck to his. It went over your real eyebrows with spirit gum. And
Hmm.
of course, if you read the instructions, that it tells you to cover the eyebrows with something, and probably like you said, use a little Vaseline or something. But he's not one to read instructions like most men are, so guilty of that. And yeah, so he just like, oh no, I can do this. He puts on the makeup, sticks on the prosthetics, and it was great. He actually even won it took top prize at it was like a traditional looking like old school Wolfman costume, and he even
Oh,
won first
nice.
prize at this party that we went to. But of course, next that night, taking off the prosthetics, they'd stuck pretty hard, and yeah, he effectively removed his eyebrows completely.
Yes. They normally give you like some spirit gum remover, so you make sure you use that after you do anything with spirit gum.
Hmm.
And when you're removing liquid latex, don't just rip it off. But when you prep your eyebrows good, it should come off with it. Just rub you some soap and water on it in a circle of motion, and it should come straight off.
Right. Okay. So where do your ideas come from? Because I mean, you've got what must be hundreds of pictures on your Facebook page of different makeup jobs you've done. Do you actually look through anything? Like, do you go online or look through something to get inspiration, or does it just like kind of hit you?
Most of my looks come to me. Some be requested, and sometimes a lot of people like me to recreate other people's art, but I like to put my own twist on it because you don't want to
Right.
recreate somebody else's masterpiece. That's their baby.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
it's a mixture of all those.
So, do you have anything in mind, like for this Halloween on Halloween night? Like, do you have something in mind right now that you're gonna do?
Um, Currently I'm working at a haunted house in Raymond, Mississippi. It's called House of the Haunted Fields,
Oh,
and
sounds awesome.
I do the makeup there, and I'm also a character, and so that's
Wow.
what I'm gonna be on
So,
Halloween.
so you don't know what character you're gonna be just yet?
Yeah, I know the character I'm gonna be. I'm gonna be it's a demon called Zegan, and that's
Oh,
my character.
oh, cool. Well, I hope you're gonna post some pictures of that.
Oh yes.
Awesome. Okay, well, that is all the movie coverage that we have for this episode, but we are not done just yet because we want to hear from you. Do you have a movie suggestion, question, comment, Do you have any costume makeup tips of your own that you want to give us? Well, you've got a few options to do that. You can reach out to us the old-fashioned way on email by writing to graveyardshiftpod@gmail.com. You can get us on Twitter at GYS_horrorpod, or you could get us on Facebook at facebook.com/thegraveyardshiftpod. If you'd like to make a monetary donation to help keep the show going, you can do that at www.patreon.com/graveyard. All proceeds go to the upkeep and promotion of the show. And if you are a Patreon donor, you get access to some awesome Patreon exclusive bonus episodes that we post monthly. So check that out. And if you're not in a position to give us money, that's okay. You can still help us out a ton. You can subscribe on iTunes, rate, review. All that goes to help out the show. And to be quite honest, in the long run, that is what's going to help us out the most. You can also do the same on Google Play and Stitcher. And if none of those options are possible, just keep doing what you're doing now. However you find this podcast and listen to it, keep doing that. Share us on social media. Share it by word of mouth. Everything helps out. So thank you very much. And Mike, if people wanted to hear more from you, where could they do that?
I review Nintendo Power magazines with my American co-hosts on the Playing with Power podcast. It's available on facebook.com/playingwithpower, as well as playingwithpowerpodcast.com. It's me chatting with guys, talking about what's in the magazine, and then horrible, terrible diversions.
Yeah, it's a good one. If you're a fan of old school Nintendo games, or you had a subscription to Nintendo Power magazine back in the day, then you're gonna love it. I highly suggest you check it out. It's very informative, it's funny, and just a great bit of nostalgia. So check that out. And Cynthia, if people wanted to find out more about you or see some of your pictures that you have online, how could they go about doing that?
Y'all can find me on Facebook at Cynthia Zqueen Bonner. I'm the only one, and you type it in, I'm the only Cynthia Zqueen, and I have a horror picture always as my profile, so you can find me there. You can go like my page and keep up with more looks on my Facebook page, which is Zqueen Sin Effects. You can reach me on my Instagram at Zqueen Sin, and you can reach me on Twitter at Cameron the Art Act 2.
Awesome. Well, we're going to put those links in our show notes, so people that listen to the show are going to have a very easy time finding you. Cynthia Zqueen, want to thank you so much again for being on our show today. We really appreciate it.
I appreciate you both having me on there. I really had fun, and you guys are awesome.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're so kind.
We can't wait to see what you're gonna have for us on Halloween with those pictures. So very much looking forward to that. And we just want to say to you that very soon we are going to have a special Halloween bonus episode coming up where myself and Mike are going to be having a chat with a couple of friends just about basically we're going to be talking about what Halloween means to us. We're going to talk about our must-see Halloween movies, TV specials, some stories about Halloween, and we've got a few things too, some stories and some Halloween we asked people to send in some things that, what they do each Halloween, what their Halloween traditions are, basically. We're going to read some of them on the episode, and I think it's going to be really fun. I think you're going to enjoy it. And that's a bonus episode. Besides all our regular episodes we got coming up through the month of October, that's going to be something a little extra for you, something to warm that cold, dead Halloween heart of yours. So, guys, this was had a great time. And Cynthia, yeah, we definitely got to get you back on the show sometime. So be on the lookout for that. I would
totally appreciate it.
No problem. But until then, that's it for us. I'm Sheldon.
I'm Mike.
And come join us again next time on The Graveyard Shift.
Are you sure you got enough hard drive space? Is it running up
Oh
because of
yeah,
that?
it says that I have 146 hours of space. So
Well,
unless we're planning to go really late tonight, I think I'm good.
so Cynthia, do you think you got 5 hours of talk about this movie in you?
I don't know. I don't know.
Like
Probably, yeah.
3.5 hours in, we'll be like, so how's the weather in Jackson?
Exactly.
So any city ordinances being passed? Are they gonna finally fix that pothole 2 blocks down from you?
Okay. I hope so.